Welcome to Jewelry as Your Side Hustle with Sugar Gay Isber. And today I'm meeting with a friend of mine in Nairobi. And that's my favorite continent because my son is there and his husband is coming next week to come visit. And
Hmm.
I am just, I'm smitten. So if you've ever been to Africa, you get what I'm talking about. And today we have a very special guest coming from Nairobi. She's going to tell us all about
Lagos,
there it
Nigeria.
goes, Nigeria. I said it wrong. That's because my son was just in Nairobi, so that's
That's
why.
fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, so we're gonna get started, and welcome to our show, Elizabeth. And now introduce yourself to everyone because we're happy that you're here, coming from so far away.
Thank you so much, Sugar. It's amazing to be with you, and your smile is captivating. So, my name is Okeyele-Olatunji Elizabeth. I own Tunnizze Creation, and our organization is passionate about passing on needle crafts to children across Africa. In 2010, we set a goal to reach 30,000 African children by 2030. So we are right about getting as many volunteers as possible, getting as many tools as possible to get children in Africa working with their hands. And it's so exciting.
That is very exciting because if we don't do that, all of these handicrafts could be lost. And
That's correct.
there's it's got to be passed down from generation to generation. So, and it also gives them something to do with their hands and use resources that they found. So, tell us more because this is so exciting to me, so exciting to my heart. And also, at the end, we need to talk about how we can help you because it's a really big deal what you're doing. Like, I'm proud of you.
Thank you so much, Sugar. So the idea is to get as many children as possible working with their hands because compared to the European countries and the US, very few children know what to do with their hands. And what about data for for the adults who are knitting and crocheting across Africa? There's very few data. So the goal is to work in partnership with any country that we spotlight, get the local volunteers in that country, work with the local yarn stores in that country, work with the local yarn shops, and work with children in centers, work with children in schools, work with children in homes, work with children in marginalized community. So it's like an outreach, and we choose to do this outreach twice or thrice in a year. So once we spotlight any country that we're visiting, we get all of these things together, and off we go for a period of 3 to 5 days, working across with the awesome volunteers and passing on these needlecraft skills to these children. And it's amazing because we've actually done the first pilot part of this program in Kenya, Nairobi last year, where we worked with Eshe Yarns and 11 awesome volunteers from Nairobi. And we're able to reach close to 1,000 children. We taught them how to knit and crochet, and the needles were supplied by Pony Needles Industry. Alpha Industries Nigeria also gave yarn, and Eshe Yarns herself also made some donations. And we work with amazing children in different homes, 1,000 of them. So now this is the beauty of working with the local volunteers. The beauty is when we leave, the local volunteers get to continue the program with these children. They check on them, they give them more skills to learn, and they also work to the point where they create a platform for these children to sell their goods. Because it's not just only about teaching these children or these young adults or young people this skill, it's about supporting them to make a market for their handwork. So the
They have
local
to be able to
volunteers
sell
get
it. Got to be able to
exactly.
sell it. Mhm.
Exactly. So the local volunteers now continue the pilot program with these children, and we're always in contact. So we can now offer these local volunteers more skills, and we say, oh, you can get more training from Craft Council of America. You can get more training from American Council. You can get more training from Knitting for All. You can have this supportive platform where you get more skills that you have to get to teach these children. And this is like a win-win for the volunteers in that not only do they offer their skills to just children who do not have anything to pay them, they also can offer their skills that they have been trained to work with children who can pay for this activity. So it's like an empowerment, it's like employment, it's like putting something beautiful in the hands of both the children and the volunteers.
And it's not just yarn because I have another friend of mine that I'm going to hook you up with because she's a dear to me and she crochets because she's from over there. I'm not exactly sure where she's from. I don't want to missay it, but she crochets with wire and beads and makes amazing sculpture. So it's just that whole act of doing and the repetitiveness and learning to love. And don't you find that there's like real artists, they're just born artists? Do you see that sometimes in your kids? Like,
Yes. So you mean children who are born artists, right?
I think I was born an artist. I think if I would have had you teaching me, I would have been so happy. It would have been like, yeah, I'm making things. Like it
Yes,
comes from
yes.
within you. It's not just like, oh, I'm learning a new skill and this is going to be helpful. No, no.
Exactly, exactly. Sometimes, very few times, you find this child or you find this young person who you just give a little push, a little skill, and boom, they pick and they explode and they keep going and they are exploring. And then you also find that child who you have to give the nudge, continuous support, you give all the motivation or the inspiration, and they are able to go on. But this is it. Every child deserves a chance to experiment and work with their hands and work with yarns. So our goal is to give them that chance by putting these materials in front of them. That's the yarn, that's the knitting pin. Then we now give that child a chance to harness their potential to see if they have this natural gift as a craft artist or textile artist or yarn artist, or if they just want to do it as a pastime. So they need the opportunity, they need the chance.
And
just like you got your chance with your jewelry as well, and you're able to explore, and you have so many beautiful things you're doing with your hands, every child deserves that chance.
Right. And I really think that that's like the best gift that you can give a child is the ability to learn a skill that they'll be able to pass down to their kids or teach somebody else. So I have a really good question for you because I'm thinking they're not knitting sweaters in Africa. Like that would be, are they knitting sweaters? No.
Yes. In a place like Nairobi, the weather can be a bit cold. So yes, you can knit sweater. There are other cold regions in Africa where a sweater is nice, but everyone can make a plushie. Everyone can make a small teddy bear. Then everyone can actually apply the knitting and crochet to their environment. So what is in your environment? Could it be that you could actually knit emojis? Do you know emojis?
Yeah.
Yes. Happy emojis, excitement emojis, positive emojis. And you could have these small plushies with knitted or crochet with emojis in school bags. There could be accessories in school bags. And you could say, oh, I am crocheting and knitting these plushies, these small toys, to teach friends in my environment, to tell everyone in my environment that a smile is better than a frown. Or you could say, I'm knitting or crocheting to create awareness for bullying, that bullying is wrong, and everyone can speak up for when he or she is being bullied. You can actually knit or crochet tiny hats for preterm babies. The most important thing is you have this skill and you can use it to better your environment and your community.
Right. Little blankets. You can even knit a rug.
Yes.
With rag rugs. I have them all over, not here, not in this room, but I have multiple rugs. So, that whole process of just working the fabric, working the yarn, working the needles, the different sizes of needles and what they like. It's a huge community, the knitting community. Is it hard to find wool over there or yarn? Is that like something and that's a whole nother process, is making that yarn? Like, I don't know if there's somebody over there that's doing that, but that's like a whole process. I know those people. Back in Canada, I was friends with the spinners. They were the girls that would take that wool. I think they bought it by like a train load full, and then they would clean it and dye it. And then they would actually they would just walk around spinning wool like they were ancient women, because every piece of fabric from the beginning of time until industrial civilization had to be spun, that to make the thread, to make the looms, to make the cloth. And these girls were crazy good. Like, they were from a different time. Like, that was just something they could walk around and spin. They had little hand spinners and they could just spin that wool as they were doing their whatever, even sitting by the TV. It didn't require the huge spinning wheel like we associate with that. But it's a big business too. Is that the beginning product?
Well, now in Nigeria and some of Africa, except South Africa, where they produce mohair and alpaca.
Yes.
The other regions of Africa, only produce acrylic. And most of those acrylic actually, the fibers are imported. They are not produced in Nigeria. The acrylic fiber is imported, but it is spun into a yarn in Nigeria. So we have acrylic yarns all over the place. Acrylic can be pretty good for learning because it's actually cheap, absorbs colors, and is very attractive. But when it comes to finishing, when it comes to fabric, wearing fabric, acrylic doesn't work. So we are trying to work in partnership with the yarn factory and say, we are in eco-friendly, we are eco-friendly community in the world at the moment. We do not want non-biodegradable yarns. You can give us natural yarns. And so we have some fewer companies like Alpha who are producing a bit of cotton. I was sent some samples to experiment with recently. 100% cotton made in Nigeria, cotton that can be spun into yarn for our young ones to work with. But in the interim, I have companies like Rowan Yarns who sent me samples of premium and amazing yarns for my learners. And I take few boys to class, do in my outreach, send some to some of the schools who I'd worked with in the past to say, yes, you can actually work with 100% wool yarn. And it's an amazing feeling when a child takes a ball of 100% wool and I say, this yarn was gotten from a sheep. So as we keep evolving, as we keep talking about this art and craft, as we keep getting as many people to work with their hands, we are confident that in the future we have more companies, more factories who want to sew, who want to invest in the market, who say, yes, we can produce luxury yarns, luxury organic yarns, luxury natural yarns for these children to work with and for the future generation.
Okay, so I'm already like in my mind packing a box for you. I'm like, is it hard to send stuff to you?
Can be pretty expensive.
Well, besides the cost, is it hard to get things through customs? I know I've sent things to my son before, and it took like, I don't know, like 4 months or something like that to get there. And it was like a big hassle, and they lost the box. And I don't know, it was like a lot of things happened. Is it hard to mail things to you?
It's not hard. So Rowan Yarn actually sent me some yarns. My two ladies knitting needles also sent me some of return and fairly used knitting and crochet pins. They sent that to me. And I also write in a couple of articles and blogs as well. So some of those magazines are sent to me in Nigeria, and a bit of article contribution in uppercase magazine as well that have been sent to me. So it's fine. And I also happened to come to the US too. I was in the US in May. So if I could come around, you could actually send these things to my hotel and I could bring them back myself. So it's a win-win.
Because I know the importing is quite the big. Okay, so I have another really burning question. How did you learn? And tell me about that. Like, how old were you when you picked up your first crochet needles and said, yeah, that's pretty cool. Right. I can do this.
So I was actually 7 when my classmates taught me how to knit. And they taught me with broomsticks. So it was something we just did garter stitch. We never learned how to cast off. We never learned how to read patterns. It was just broomsticks that I used to learn how to knit when I was age 7. And that was all I did about knitting. Fast forward to my undergraduate days, I now went to study textile technology. And a friend of mine gifted me a knitting pin. And I was like, oh, I could go back to this craft. It was something I loved doing. And that has been it all through that time to this very time. So when I started my business, I was like, if you wake me up in my sleep and tell me, Elizabeth, knit or crochet, and I'll be do this thing. Why not let me make a business out of something I really, really like to do? And that was how Tunnizze Creation was born. It was born out of my passion for teaching and my passion and my love for yarn. So it's a business that combines my two love for knitting and love for teaching. And that's why I don't ever get tired of teaching children.
You know, I'm the same way. So I'm trying to think about like, while you're saying this, it's like, why am I not doing this? Why am I not teaching children? I haven't tried to teach children really before. You know, I teach at the college level and I love teaching. I've written 2 books on it. Like, it's my thing. But really, like, I think that this is a great opportunity for everybody to look in their communities and go, what can I teach kids? You know, like so tell us about like that next step of how you decided to go from, okay, I've got this great idea and now I'm going to really put it to use. Like, do you go to schools and do you tell them like, I'm going to do an after school program and I'm going to teach, because it doesn't have to be just girls, right? Like,
yes, everywhere I find children. It might be library, it might be book club, it might be orphanage homes, it might be community centers, it might be schools, anywhere I can find children. And it was really, really difficult at first. And it still is, because in Nigeria, our economy is struggling, and a lot of people are struggling to afford the basics. So very few people can actually say, oh, I want a knitting and crochet class. And so many times I have to teach for free, provided somebody can actually buy the tool. So it's been very stressful, but as the world is going, then the COVID came and brought a bit of boom as well into working with the hands. A lot of people were indoor and they felt, oh, what could we do? And they decided to look at knitting and crochet, and it's been like that. So now it's better than how it was before, because before I could go around 40 schools and nobody says, hey, I want to buy your knitting classes. So it has to do with a lot of my time. I have to volunteer. And after volunteering and giving everyone a taste of what it means to learn how to knit, I now begin to get a little bit of request and then for my classes. And I have a knitting book as well, a knitting ABC book, which is in a couple of other libraries across the country. Not selling so well like that, but I have a few copies people buy here and there. And thankfully, I had the H&H Award in May for the Golden Scissors Award. I was the recipient for the Golden Scissors Award in the US, and that brought a bit of light as well to the work I do. And I'm also very active on social media as well. So I keep putting the word out there to say, if you get your children working with their hands, you are going to help them improve their creativity. And I must tell you, Sugar, one of the most creative humans in the world are children. They are so damn creative because they don't have bills to pay. They have more time to think.
Of course. And you know, I also know that when I was in 6th grade, so I don't know how old I was then, like, I don't know, 10 or 11, in my art class, and I had 2 sisters that were older than me, and one of them was really excellent in art. And that art teacher was teaching me, and she did not like my art. It did not go well in that class. And after that, I never did art again because she was so ugly to me. And I thought it wasn't until I got to college and my first semester, I had to take a class in ceramics. It was just an extra class. And then halfway through the semester, my professor said, you've ruined the budget for the whole class. You're now up to like 100 pieces, and that's like shot my budget. So slow down. So I found all that pent up art that I hadn't been doing for, all those years just exploded out of me, and I never looked back. And I was instantly an artist. So it has to be encouraging words to these kids, even if you don't like what they're doing. It doesn't matter. Their vision is not necessarily your vision, but you got to be like kind to these kids that you could crush them like I was crushed. So that's why I'm so sympathetic to learn.
Yeah, so it's important when I do train teachers as well, teachers who also want to teach children how to knit, and I tell them, you are actually, you have this chance to mold this child. You have an opportunity to impact this child with the skill of knitting. You must take this job seriously and be mindful of your words. So when a child makes an effort in the knitting or crochet, we do not compare children. When they make an effort, in 2 to 3 classes, this child can only make a chain, inspire them. This child can only crochet or make a chain, and this child can only knit some few stitches of garter rows on her knitting or knitting sticks. Be full with commendation. Commendation is like watering flowers, and when you constantly water a flower, it's going to bloom. Be very commendable and commend them and help them understand that this is not a race and there's no assessment for this skill. Do your thing and do it at your will. And I've been able to have children who has bloomed over time and who are doing absolutely well.
And they maybe now help teach others. Did I meet you
peer-to-peer learning?
The American Craft Alliance webinar or meeting roundtable this week? Is that where I met you?
Yes, that's where you met me.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Because those women need to know your story. Those women, does Abby know your story? Like,
yes,
that should be a
she
thing.
Did,
like, all their extra supply should go to you. Like, I'm kind of shocked by that.
Yes, Abby is amazing. I have a couple of articles on the Craft Industry Alliance website that I wrote, and Abby has been very supportive. It was through Abby's platform that I won the Golden Scissors Award. and it's been very, very encouraging. I was in the US and I met some awesome yarn company. I met my two ladies needles in the US, and they are sending me at the moment. I have one box, so I've gotten the remaining two boxes are on the way, of knitting pins and crochet pins and some bags for these children who cannot afford to buy them. So yes, the word is out there.
I'm just saying, on the next meeting next month, the first Tuesday of every month, we have a roundtable. If you don't do it, I'm going to speak up for you, because it's like, hey, does everybody know we have this great opportunity for all your extra yarn? And if you have any old needles, or if you want to help some kids, there's a place, and one of our members needs to talk to you. Like, this is like so eye-opening to me. I am so proud of you. Number one, I'm so excited to learn about you, because I can generously give to your classes. Like, I can go to this local stores and buy knitting needles, and use my coupons and my whatever I have, and get a box together. I probably have wool around here. I have so many supplies that'll never be used if I don't find a home for them. And then I'm going to introduce you to my friend who knits with wire and beads, because that's going to blow your head open. It's like, oh, I see. She's got a different way of doing the exact same thing we're doing, but now she's taking it to this whole other level. And maybe that's something you could reach out with her, because she's a friend, and just go, hey, because if you just watched her Instagram, she does really good close-ups of over her shoulder of watching.
What's her name on Instagram?
Yeah, I'll send it to you. I don't want to mispronounce it, because it is an African name, and I'm terrible with names. I can tell you in 2 seconds, because she's on my WhatsApp. And let's just make sure I don't want to say her name wrong, because that would be such an insult. I'm not great. Oh, okay, hold on. Naomi, that part I got. It's Gakunga. Naomi Gakunga. She's wonderful. I'll send you the link. But she is yeah, and you could learn really from her Instagram, because you already know what chain stitch she's doing, or whatever she's doing. And then, oh, it's with wire. Okay, well, wires and then she does found objects, because she says to me, I learned on my mother's knee. This is how my mother, spread this to us. So she's a teacher too. So you have a lot of people that want to support you. I know it. We just got to get the word out for you and help. I mean, if you're touching the lives of little children that are going to become artists one day, well, we need to do everything we can to help you. That's a whole different game. I'm so happy that you were on that call, and that you met up with me today, so that we could get this little journey started. It's so good to give back. It's so good for our hearts over here to think about how we could help another artist somewhere, or multiple children to, create something that they could sell. Now, we know that selling is the hardest part, because I'm an artist and I make lots of stuff, but selling is the hardest part. To be an entrepreneur, you have to be able to so many things, we have social media, we have to be able to take pictures, we have to be able to make videos, we have to be able to have a website. There's so much more than just, oh, I'm a creator. It's I'm a creator, but I got to be able to sell this. Mm-hmm. So how is that process for you? Because is that the next level of teaching? It's a whole other thing, right?
Now, for children, it's much more than the product. It's also about the process, what the process does for them. Now, when you are knitting with your 2 pins, you are engaging the both part of your brain, the left and the both part of the brain, and you are getting your brain to think. So what you're taking away from knitting is the will to think. Then also, you're also learning that things follow a process. You start from casting on, you get through the learning curve, you learn how to knit, you learn how to cast off, you learn how to read patterns, you learn how to follow through. And that's the natural order of things. So children learn that. They learn creativity. They also learn finishing, and they also learn how to appreciate the hard work of others. So if a child spends a whole term trying to knit or crochet a teddy bear, you won't have that child go to a museum and see the art of others and want to ruin it, because he or she would have thought, if I can put this much hard work into trying to make a small thing how much hard work these artists have put into trying to put this masterpiece in the museum. So children are taking away the beauty of hard work. Then we are also having an age where some children are actually getting addicted to being on the internet, being addicted to their iPads, being addicted to their phones, being addicted to their electronics. So one way they can actually distress or deplug is by working with their hands. And they're also able to process their thoughts. You know, we have a couple of young people in Nigeria at the moment who have so fallen in love with crochet. I have some of them who actually sign up for my class. So you find they are communicating and their hands are busy, they are crocheting. They're also learning the beauty of community. They're learning the beauty of communication. And these days, I am also telling parents, if your children sign up for knitting or crochet class, you can sign up with them as well and learn together. Parents can sign up in their spare time as well and learn with their children. And what better way when we have a skill that can help us get to the mind of our children? So it's not just about the products, but also about the process. Very few times, the school have like an art exhibition, an entrepreneurship fair, where children can actually display their product and parents can come in to pick it. So that is also encouraged. But the goal is more of what the skill and the process of the skill than the product.
You know, I love it that you're teaching them to appreciate other artists, because that's really how you also learn. I think that that's brilliant. Like, that really puts everything back together. It's like, it's not just about you. It's not just about your mother and your community and no. It's about appreciating all different levels of art, from the beginning to the museum quality. So if you open that world, like open up the world of like the professionals to them, so they can see, so they can aspire to that, so they can go, oh, I can make something even better than that. Like, that's where they probably really just blossom, because then they can really like see, oh, I'm doing this for a reason, and mine's not always going to look like this. It's going to get better and better and better, because it is using both parts of your brain and, you know, using those skills. That's, you know, like, I remember, look, you know how I learned jewelry is that my grandmother taught me how to sew, hand sewing. She should have shown me a machine. It would have been a little bit better use for my time, but I learned. So then when it came time, I had to make something. It's like my jewelry ended up, I don't know if I have a piece around here, but I still do it today, where it's like sewing. It's like beads and wire and wiring on beads to a piece of wire. I don't know if I have a piece here anywhere to show you, but that's really, oh, here's one. It's a crown. It's a picture of a crown. I don't know if you can see
It's beautiful.
But that crown is all just hand sewing. Like, you know, it's my grandmother showing me how to do embroidery that led me to creating a bracelet, which led me to, I don't know if I have another one in here, which led me to this. So it does connect the dots all the way through. You never know how it's going to end up. You know, could have been that I got really good at embroidery. I still have the pair of shorts. It was a little pair of jean shorts I was knitting. I did the back pockets that she sat there with me and we did together. And I still have that because it was priceless to me. Like, that was something that just meant the world to me, that I know where those are. Could never fit into them. They're this big, but it was a long time ago. So, but it does come down to that, where we have to be shown, you know, how to do things, and the earlier the better. The earlier the better. So, tell me about your typical day. A typical day in the life of you. How does it work?
My typical day actually starts with me brainstorming and thinking about the children who I want to teach, or who I have been teaching and who I want to go meet. So I like surprises, so I'm always having extra yarns with me. When I pack my bags, I pack extra yarns, smaller balls of yarn, variegated yarns, funny looking kind of yarns, and I have them with me as I pack my bag to go to the school I want to teach. Not only that, I also like wearing, modeling something finished that I had knitted or crochet, something different, new, and every time in the week. So I also like to wear something finished as I pack my bag as well on my way to work. And when I get to work and it's time for my class, I could just pop in and have them already bring in their things. And I also said to them, I am not the only person who is coming with surprise. You should also surprise me as well. So some of them hide their, yes.
I love that.
And so
I love that.
And so when they come and they've worked so hard, maybe somebody started a teddy bear in class and the teddy bear comes back and he already has his hair, the bunny already done, and I scream, what? What? Did you just make that? And everybody's like, everybody wants to surprise me. Everybody wants to make me happy. I want to make them happy as well. So it's a two-way thing. I want to get them excited so that they don't get tired of learning. And they also want to get me excited as well. And these days, we are also infusing technologies into our class. We try to go to YouTube and check who is going to inspire us in every class. So we have Jonah Lawson. I'm sure you would have heard about him.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, so we have Jonah Lawson's videos on YouTube that we watch, and a couple of young crocheters and knitters across the world who we also see. Then we have that tech time as well, where we get to learn from the interactive board and watch videos to get us inspired. Then I get to check everyone's progress individually, and that can be quite tough,
Yes.
So
yes.
Every child is at different level of learning.
Yes.
Some still do not know the skill for 2 to 3 weeks of class. They are still struggling. So the strategy I adopt in my class is moving from simple to complex. So a child can remain in a simple phase, as simple as doing a pre-knitting skill of working with the spool loom, with the nifty knitter for weeks, provided that child can change color, that child can stay on the task, that child can complete a project, that's fine by me. And you see that there are other children who, boom, you introduce them to knitting last week. When they come back, they already have a very long scarf. So what do? We say this child is ready to progress to the point of reading a pattern. This child cannot be fed with milk anymore. We need to give he or she solid milk. So in a class of 20 children, every one of them is at different phase of learning, and that can be quite intense on the knitting teacher. So it's exciting as well. And before you know, the class is already over, and they hear the bell and they are like, oh, we don't want to leave.
I know.
And I'm like, no, the class is over, it's time to go. So we pack up, making sure that everyone's item is back into their bag ahead of the next teacher. So when I'm done, I have to go to another class or another school. It's very intense and it's very exciting.
Yeah, I know you give a lot of yourself. I love your ideas on teaching. It's kind of inspiring me even to be even a little bit better, because I don't get to talk to other teachers. So, but what you're saying is exactly right. When I'm in a class, somebody might have been doing this all different times in their life, and so everybody's at a different level, and that one-on-one is the key. So, and then not only that, I also tell all the students, they're adults, but I say, now these are your friends forever, because y'all are having the same experience together. And afterwards, I'm your friend forever. You can always contact me, but you also have other people that you now know. It's about creating a community too. Like, I think that that's probably really important for your students too, is that now they have a new little friend that they can talk crochet with.
Exactly. And then also, I also leverage on the community to also teach. So when we have those who learn really fast, I have them teach those who are still coming up. And the children are better teachers than myself. So you at times you could have like 3 or 4 children sign up for knitting or crochet in a class. When you come back some months later, everyone in the class is knitting or crocheting.
Doesn't that feel good?
Exactly. So I said to everyone, if you want a skill to outlive generation, you have to put it in the hands of children. And so I say you get it, distribute it free. Teach one, learn and teach the others as well. So in a whole session, we can have almost a lot of children who are crocheting. They are being taught by their classmates, they are being taught by their friends, and they have their community. And some even come and sign up for knitting and say, my friend inspired me to come and knit, and my friend inspired me to come and crochet. So I let my knitters market the club, market my after club. Go bring your friends, you're going to get a free ball of yarn. Go tell them we're having fun here. And so it's a community of chit chat, and it's amazing.
I mean, that is, I think that's another reason that gets them excited. It's like, oh, I'm going to get to go back and I'm going to get to see all these friends. Like, that's just as good at our age as it is at any age. Like, oh, we want to go see our friends, like have a little social time, have some learning. And it makes you feel good that, you're helping somebody else to learn. And, all the different things that teaching and learning all comes together to really make it a great thing. Now, let's talk about how people can help you. Do you have like a a way that people could send you money? Is that the best? Like, I just want to be your friend.
All
So,
right, all
but
right,
I
yeah.
want to support you because,
All right. Now,
I understand
I do
this.
not, all right, I do not take money, but I like sponsorship. So I would have done Botswana next week, but I didn't get anyone to pay for my flight. So you can just buy my flight ticket. I could do the visa. You could buy my flight ticket and send me the ticket, and I just go right away to the particular country I want to go to. So I have yarn. I have some couple of knitting pins, but I have no flight ticket to go to Botswana. So people can help me by donating airfare tickets to any country, African country that we've spotlighted. That's how what any organization can help me. And they can also help by sending me supplies or send to the country we have spotlighting ahead of our visit, send the supplies there. So we just go use it to teach the children. Then you can also spread the word. You can spread the word as well and say, oh, Elizabeth from Tunnizze Creation is doing this. Because the idea is actually still metamorphosizing. No one has anything or everything figured out all yet, but it's a process. And the more everyday grows, the more we meet more children, the more the idea will get bigger and better. So all I need at times may just be an email to tell me, oh, this is, how about you do it like this, Elizabeth? How about you do it like this, Elizabeth? So I need a lot of people to support me. I need a lot of people to be by my side. I need a lot of people to make the announcement on my behalf. And I need a lot of people to send me, once I itemize what I'm going to be needing in a particular country, I need people to help send that support as well through sponsorship so that it can get done.
Now, when you came to the US in May, where did you go?
I was actually in the H&H America, and I was in a hotel. So my hotel bills was actually partly paid by the stipend from the Golden Sisters Award, and my two ladies knitting as well actually helped me pay for my hotel for 3 days, and that was just fine. And so a couple of friends actually did feed me, and that was fun, and I was able to return back to my home country, Nigeria. So I itemize the things I'm going to need, and I have sponsors take care of that, and that's just fine.
Now, I've heard about H&H, and of course, I'm not a knitter. So tell people about H&H because it's coming up again. Is it twice a year? I'm not sure.
No, once a year. I think there's H&H Cologne in Germany, and there's also H&H America. H&H is an amazing program, Sugar. It's a crafters, community of crafters, those who are in the industry of crafting, showcasing their products in an amazing community of people who do handcraft, come together, showcase their products, what they have to the world, and people come and get to meet them, connect, and there's conversation and there's community. So for the 2024, it happened in the Donald Stevenson Center in Chicago, May 1 to May 3rd. And there were amazing keynote speeches. There were speakers from around the world who came in and they spoke about what was happening in their community with crafting. And guess what they talked about? They said, now is the time to move our crafting to the hands of the younger generation. Now is the time. They said, now is the time.
Because it gives me chills. It was like you were there for a reason to hear that word, that you're doing that.
Exactly. Thank you so much. So they're like, this is the time. This is the time to move this craft to the next generation. And H&H, they also showcase young crafters who are doing something extraordinary. So there was one young quitter who was doing amazing work. Her work was on showcase at the H&H America. I can actually pick her names. Then we have needles, yarn manufacturers from all over the world, from Mexico, from China, from Brazil. They were there to exhibit their products. Everyone had a booth assigned to them, and there were different quilting projects, there were different knitting projects, there were different crochet projects, beautiful yarns, amazing people, all displaying their products and their services for the world to see. And it was beautiful. I'm super excited about attending H&H 2025. And guess what? I was very plenty on taking videos that I brought back to my children, and I showed them on my YouTube. And they're like, wow, this is amazing. Then I also got the opportunity to speak to some next generation students who came from a college. They were studying textile. And I said to them, you could come one day to Africa and see our craft industry, and also come and check in Nigeria as well. So there's community, there's connection, and it's like a big place for business, those who are in the craft business, to connect and make great connection. You should attend in 2025. It's amazing.
Well, is there any jewelry there? Like I'm a jewelry girl. Like I can do any kind of art, but that's like, would I be like because I'm
All
like
kind
the
of
one
crafting. Yes,
person.
yes, yes. You could get a stand. Yes, it doesn't have to be textile or fiber craft. As long as it is crafting, as long as it's a craft business, like a marketplace for craft businesses. So you can have like a booth. You can talk to Abby. You can have like a booth and showcase your business to everyone in the world and make great connection. You could look at how can you use your jewelry as a jewelry owner. How can you use your jewelry to speak indigenous languages to other communities in Brazil and across the world? So there's great connections for you, and there are a lot of other amazing things that you can do, because I know that your jewelry is going to speak. There's a language your jewelry is speaking, Sugar.
Yeah. Sorry, I was looking for this one piece. It just reminded me, like, oh my God, wait, I have that ability. I don't see it here. No, it must be in another room. But oh my God, yes, I do this. I just don't put it all together sometimes. It's like, oh, I feel like I'm such an outlier. But yeah, I'm gonna show you. I'll find a photo of it. And I did a book on it. So I don't see a picture. I don't see anything. Anyway, I'm there. Okay, so now I'm excited about H&H, especially if I know you're going to be there,
I'll be
because
there.
you should
I'll be
really
there.
be a speaker. Like we need to work on that to make sure that you're really, so that as many people as possible. Like I'm going to make sure that I'm going to write a little note to Abby and say, hey, I talked to Elizabeth today and I was really inspired by her story and, blah, blah, blah. So now
And tell
I'm,
Abby that I invited you to the H&H 2025. I used to volunteer to be on the planning committee, and I tell you, it's an amazing place to be. Amazing place.
so people do know about you. Okay, so as we're like wrapping up this, let's talk
Mhm.
about your Instagram.
Okay. Tunnizze Creation, that's my name on Instagram.
Okay. And
And
your
then also on
website.
Facebook as well. Tunnizze Creation also on Facebook as well. Tunnizze Creation on Twitter. Tunnizze Creation on Instagram.
Okay. And you're going to also email me because you've got my email address. We'll figure that all out so that I make sure that I have that in this. So it'll be here so that we talk about that and it's in the description so everybody can always find you. And anything else that you want to send me about how people can get a hold of you, sponsor you, like anything that you want to send, email me that and we'll make sure that we include this because people are going to want this. Like, and people are going to want to copy your success because you are a passionate person, you are a gifted person, you are somebody who really cares about other people, and I think we all need to be doing this. So now you're inspiring me. That's one. You got me inspired, like not only just to help you but to also take it out to the world, because that's, we can't just all be you, but we can learn from you and take your experiences. And is there any other like thing that you would say, like, oh, this is the hardest part of my journey? I think the hardest part is probably just getting funds, probably so that you can
Yes, getting funds.
travel and take
And
it
also,
farther.
yes, and also getting the needle and yarn manufacturer, notion manufacturer to invest into the future, which is young children. Now, there was a yarn consumer survey that was carried out, and it was discovered that young people below the age of 18 use all their disposable income to buy yarn. And that is what I had seen firsthand in my class. So, for these companies producing crafting materials, you do not need all the plenty stories for children. Once they know this skill, be confident they are going to come and have their parents buy your product. So if the companies take it upon themselves to invest into educating this younger generation, that is when we can say, that's when I can say I have been successful. The work is huge. Only me cannot do it. I need the companies producing yarn, knitting pins, notions to get into educating the younger generation, because these ones are the ones who are going to these are the future of all of our crafting. The next generation is the future of their crafting, and it's important that we put these things in their hand and we teach them well.
I am so proud of you. You started off my day, which I didn't know was going to go in this direction, to get my heart excited, to get me have goosebumps when you're talking about it, to make me think a little bit more about a topic I really hadn't thought about, which is teaching, but teaching it, in a new way. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about trying to help you and spread the word. And now I'm excited about H&H and hopefully meeting you there next year because, I am part of that craft alliance. And, it does matter to me. And that's why I put my money there. That's why I spend time going on these roundtables and being a part of the group and trying to spread my word. So you have made my day today. I just want you to know that. Like I know
Thank you so much, Sugar.
you're on the opposite side of the world. So let's see. Is it early in the morning? No. What time is it there?
This is 16:23, and that's 23 minutes after 4.
Okay.
Getting to the evening, 16:23 p.m.
Okay. So you're like 6 hours ahead of me. I
Yes, six
guess that's
hours
how it
ahead.
works. Yeah. So that makes about sense. So I hope that the rest of your day goes as well as I'm going to now have. And I'm going to be putting together something for you and talking to you about other people that I want you to meet, and also going on Instagram and seeing your story and sharing your story and all
Thank you
that.
so
So
much.
I've
Are
got
you on
work to do.
Instagram as well?
Yes. What is it?
Are you on Instagram?
Yeah, sure. Sugar Gay Isber. Everything is
Okay.
Sugar Gay Isber. If you just pop it in, it's
Oh,
all
that's fine.
I'm all one thing. So because we're entrepreneurs, we get that that's important that people can find us easy.
I screenshot your face and my face, and I'm going to put it on my social media
Oh,
page.
yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes.
Sugar.
Do that too. So that I don't know. Well, I'll end the I'll end the recording and then we will stay on for a second more and we will do that. And I am really grateful to you. Like,
Thank
thank
you,
you so
Sugar.
much for coming on to my show. And I look forward to spreading the word. And we're going to make this really fun. It's going to be a great,
Thank you.
fun year until
And
I
I
get
look
to meet.
forward to you coming to Africa. Africa is beautiful.
Africa is beautiful. Well, my son is just keeps saying, well, I've been there several times, but yeah, I know. It's just that long flight. That's the only thing.
It
Like,
is, the US is very far.
it's very far.
Very,
Okay,
very
for
far.
now, I'm going to end this recording, and we're going to stop, but stay on. Don't leave. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. It's been really great hearing about your teaching and how your heart is so filled with joy on learning the craft of handicraft, really, of knitting and crocheting and teaching other girls so they can teach other girls too. So you're a blessing. And I'm so happy that we got to do this today.